Isang pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS-EDTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na! Tara na!
Formal reports can be presented in narrative or graphical forms. It is the duty of the reporter to make sure that the results and final report are coherent with each other.
That is why it is important to be equipped with the skills to translate these findings into paragraphs and, if possible, into graphical forms creatively.
Yeah, so hello there, it's Tuesday, it's 4 p.m.
It's time for English for academic and professional purposes.
I am Tutor Alvin,
And I'm Tutor Aaron
and we are your AF buddies.
for ETUlay online tutorial session at this hour.
All right, so again, good afternoon to all our AF Phenomenal students out there. Okay, so good afternoon, Tutor Aaron.
Good afternoon, Tutor Alvin, and good afternoon to all of you, our AF Phenomenal students. Welcome to our Tuesday session.
Okay, hello, our early bird. Okay, our consistent early bird from watching through YouTube. We have Joseph Conrad Bulaklak. Hello there, Joseph. Good afternoon. So why don't we ask Tutor Aaron, our AF Phenomenal students, as of the moment?
How do you feel? Hello, our AF Phenomenal students. As usual, how are you feeling right now? How is your Tuesday? I know, Tutor Alvin, that it's already like fourth quarter in our school. Our teachers and even students are so busy submitting requirements because it's like the last week in our case, okay, it's in our case, it's like the last week of submission and all, so everybody is busy. But how are you feeling right now, our phenomenal students? Why don't you click a heart button or like button or give us your emotion right now? I am excited every Tuesday, Tutor Alvin. How about you?
Yes. Me too. Okay, so since we're now, I think, on our week 6, so we'll be having last more 2 weeks. Okay, for um for this AF journey. Okay,
Wow.
so I'm very excited every Tuesday, and I think also Enrico here from YouTube. So ayan, na-miss ka ni ni Enrico dati. Hinahanap ka ni Enrico last week. Enrico
Hi,
Daluman.
Enrico. I miss you too, and I miss all of you. I was not here last week because of an activity. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, hello to our program head, Ma'am Nova Dolor Pelayo. So our director
Yes.
also. So
Hello
good
also to
afternoon.
Sir Madge. I think he's also with us right now. Hello to Teddy Lobo. Good afternoon, everyone. Do not forget to share, to like, and to comment your name and school on our comment section because we, from that, will be getting our active students. Right, Tutor Alvin?
Yeah, that is correct. So now, Tutor Aaron, I think let's have a recap of what we had last time. So that was last week, week 5. Our topic was about conducting and gathering information from surveys, experiment, or observation. And let us award right now, Tutor Aaron.
Our English for academic and professional purposes, most AF Noble student for quarter 4, week 5 is none other than
Okay, she is Yangmei
Yangmei Angela
Angela
Turra. Yes, Sir
Turari.
Alvin, go.
Okay, so from San Mariano National High School of SDO Isabela. Congratulations. Okay, Yangmei.
Makakarami na tong San Mariano High School ha. Parang
Yeah,
lagi na lang sa
oo.
kanila nanggagaling ang ating AF Phenomenal Student of the Week. Congratulations, everyone.
So, let's have a rundown of our previous topics kasi patapos na tayo, Tutor Aaron. Baka na-miss na, baka biglang nakalimutan na mga lessons natin from weeks 1 up to 5 ng ating quarter
Yes.
4. So, we talk about analyzing and presenting arguments,
We talked about writing a precision paper.
and also the objectives and structures of various kinds of reports were
Yes.
tackled on week 3.
Yes, on our week 4, we talked about designing, testing, and revising survey questionnaires.
And on week 5, okay, last week, okay, we talked about how to conduct and gather information from surveys, experiments, or observations. And now for week 6, Tutor Aaron.
We will be talking about summarizing or summarize findings and execute the report through narrative and visual or graphic form. So are you ready, our phenomenal students?
Yeah, are you ready? Our dear AF Phenomenal students. So please comment down below or just click any reaction emoji over there. Okay.
Correct.
So for this lesson, what do you need to know? It's simple. To summarize findings and execute report through narrative and visual or graphic forms. Nasabi nga
Wow.
natin, di ba, sa intro natin kanina, it's very important for us to translate our findings in either paragraph or the narrative or much possible into a visual or graphic form. So let us now identify the importance of summarizing findings.
Okay, but before anything else, definitely this is one of the most awaited part. We prepared another game for each and every one of you, and we know our AF Phenomenal students that you are excited. So, without further ado, let's begin. For in this activity, you have to identify the part of the research being defined. So, I hope they got this, Tutor Alvin. So, you start it now. Go.
Okay, let us begin. The first is, let me read it. It is the first page of the paper. This includes the name of the paper, a running head, authors, and institutional affiliation of the authors. Is this
Wow.
the abstract or the title? Comment down your answer.
Ito
So
yung
what is
proud na
part
proud mong
of research?
hinaharap, 'di ba, 'pag natapos mo yung paper mo, parang
Right,
nagpapa-picture pa nga
tama.
dito, eh. After you bookbind, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I see answers here. Rafael, Faye, Ibay Notas, and Marvin Lacap. Sabi niya, and even Maria Garcia. Congratulations, you answered title, and that is correct.
Yehey! Congratulations, very good. Una pa lang 'yan. So,
Yeah.
let's see our next question. Second is this is the first major section of text in the paper. The introduction. Oh, nasabi natin yung sagot. Grabe.
Oh my God. Ayun na. Oh.
Ano ba 'yan? Ayan na, nabigyan na natin agad. Okay, sige, bigay na natin 'to. So, meron tayong ano dito, bonus round. So, the introduction
Bonus round.
describes a topic under investigation, summarizes or discusses relevant prior research. So, importante, this is important that you know this. Binigyan lang namin kayo ng konting may sumagot pa rin, si Marvin Lakap.
Yeah, nice. It is the introduction.
Okay, good. That's the correct answer, introduction. How about the third one, Tutor Alvin?
Next, okay, the third one, a section which details how the research was performed. It typically features a description of the participants or the subjects that were involved, the study design, the materials that were used, and the study procedure. Okay,
Oy.
ano kaya part ng research ito? Is this the method or the review of related literature? Anyway, I would like to shout out Alan Mark de Jesus. Kala natin iniwan na tayo ni Alan Mark. Na-late lang
Kaya
pala
nga, eh,
siguro.
na-late, na-late.
Oo. Ayan, at syempre mga taga San Mariano natin, andyan na sila. Good afternoon. Ayan, and to all our AF Phenomenal students from Santa Maria National High School and to all our AF Phenomenal students out there. So what's the answer? This is, okay, Faye, Marvin, Allen, Jenny. This is the method. Tama,
Yes.
okay?
Na hirap tayo
Method.
dito, 'di ba? And now we'll go to the last question. This is okay, it is a composite of the key ideas of a piece of writing, restated in your own words. Example,
Mm,
paraphrased. Okay, or I mean specifically paraphrase. Is it the result or the summary? Go.
okay. A composite of the key ideas of a piece of writing. Mhm.
Okay, I already saw answer, Shooter Alvin, from Rafael, Faye, and Nota. She answered summary. For Alan, it's summary. For Jenny, it's summary. And you are all correct because it is summary. Yay! Congratulations and thank you for participating in our game. And in this session, Shooter Alvin, speaking of summary, no, this will be actually the topic that we are going to talk about because in the last topics we taught them different ways on how to make your introduction, your thesis
Yeah,
statement, and some parts of your research. And now we are not leaving them hanging. Syempre hindi naman tayo
yeah.
nangiiwan sa ere, 'di ba?
Tama,
Pupunta naman
tama yan.
tayo. We know that our students are now in their important parts of their research, which is also another important, which is the summary. So, and that will
Yeah,
be our topic for today.
that's correct, Choto Aaron. So for this afternoon, we'll be talking about how to summarize findings and execute the report through narrative and visual or graphic forms. From our from our previous topics for our quarter 4, we began how to formulate questions, okay, how to design, test, and revise questionnaires. And last week, I taught you what are the ways of conducting and gathering information. Now, the question is, Tutor Alvin and Tutor Aaron, okay, we're done with gathering. We're done conducting
What's next,
the
right?
questionnaire. Okay, we have tallied, okay, the data. We have now the data. So what's next? That's correct, Tutor Aaron. So what's next? Wala
The
nang ibang
next is to
kasunod.
summarize the
Yeah, so
findings,
summarize the
definitely.
findings and present them. And the other question is how we should be presenting them. So this is how. First is you should know how to summarize the findings. Of
And
course,
we have to get to know the summary of findings.
yeah, because our audience or our panelists don't want to see those raw datas you've gathered, okay? Those how many answered yes, how many answered no, how many answered strongly agree, neutral, disagree. They don't want to see that. What they want to see for your presentation or for your research presentation or your final defense is the summary, okay,
Yes,
of the findings and the result.
that's
So,
true, Tutor Alvin.
what is a summary, Tutor Aaron?
Yes, a summary, generally speaking, is a composite of the key ideas of a piece of writing, restated in your own words, i.e., paraphrase. So, same goes with, we all know that we talked about summary already before, right? From
Yeah.
the text that we read, from the stories that we are reading, we are sometimes being asked to summarize. And Tutor Alvin is correct in saying that in presenting your researches, they would not really look after how long it is or how tedious you went through with the information. They don't want to get the information overload for like 30 minutes because you'll only be presenting for like 30 minutes or 1 hour depending on your panelist. So what we have to do is to have our summary, and our summary is restated in your own words, and it's as much as possible should be paraphrased, okay, with the right information and the main points from your research, right, Tutor Alvin?
Yes, that is correct. And also, you may write a summary as a standalone assignment or as part of a longer paper. So you have to make sure when you are summarizing, you're not copying the original, because if you copy the original as it is, it's not a summary. It's just a replication. The summary
Yes.
is you are maintaining the main idea of the original text, but reducing the size. It's four. Okay? If it is, or maybe if it is the original
It's
is long
brief,
as this
yes.
one, okay, you may reduce, okay, condense it, compress it. But always remember, in summarizing our data or the findings, the main point or the what we call the main findings should be included. It should not be removed.
Correct. Because in summarizing, we would like you to learn, know how to distinguish the most important ideas in a text, how to ignore the irrelative or irrelevant information, and how to incorporate the central ideas in a meaningful way. So one way to know if you really did your research is if you know how to summarize it, right, Peter Alvin?
Yes,
Because
that's
if you
right.
did it, yes, you would know how to tell the most important parts only and the important things that you need to show to your panelists.
And also, yeah, that's right, Tutor Aaron, that if you really understand your paper, you'll be having no hard time of summarizing it. Because once you really understand, okay, you have created that text by heart, it would be easier for you to summarize it. So, hindi ka maliligaw ng iyong mga panelists, saan ka man nila dalhin, you can summarize it in a very easy way. Nagkakaproblema lang
Yes.
tayo in summarizing kapag hindi muna natin iniintindi yung original text. Diyan na pumupunta
Tama.
yung patsi-patsi, di ba? Yung
Yes.
kukuha ko dun sa una, sa gitna, sa huli, pinagsama-sama rin na daw. It's not, all right? Di ba? So in summarizing, you have to maintain the main idea as well. Yeah, you are conserving or preserving the main idea. That's why for you to get the main idea, first, you have to really understand what you are summarizing.
Yes, that's true. Indeed, Tutor Alvin. And due to clarity demand, summary of findings must contain each specific question under the statement of the problem. Definitely, because that will be your guide. You have started your research with these problems, and in your summary of findings, you have to be able to answer them. Okay, so what for are you researching, right? If you will not be able to answer the questions, the problems that you have raised in the first place, and it must be written first to be followed by the findings that would answer it. So you have the questions, then you have your information, and you have to show the findings, the supporting details that would really make you or that will really make your panelists believe that your research is credible because you have your findings and your answer to it.
Yes, so that's why the findings should be textual generalizations. It is a
Yes.
summary of the important data consisting of text and numbers. right after you collected data, it's now time for you to interpret them. Okay, to interpret them, especially if your study is quantitative,
Yes.
you'll be presenting there if your hypothesis is accepted or rejected, and you will be presenting, okay, the what do we call that, the the various correlation, regression. Just ko na punta tayo sa statistics, Sir Aaron. Yeah, that's important because you cannot say just using words in your data. It should be supported by numbers, particularly if quantitative ang iyong study. Nasabi mo, general, like for example, you generalize or you concluded that students, grade 8 male students are better in math. Okay, you have to show the the mean maybe of that particular statistical treatment you used.
Yes. And on the other hand, Tutor Alvin, pertaining to the textual generalizations, you said the quantitative. Now, on the other side, you also have the qualitative, wherein when we summarize our findings, we can use essays, or you can use, or we have to be able to express our findings through narration or through narrative form. So you have those options, you have those choices. So depending on the type of study that you are doing.
Okay, so our million peso question, Tutor Aaron, how to write a summary. How to write a
Yes.
summary. So first is skim the text. That's number one. Skim the text. So you have to note in your mind that subheadings. Okay, if there are no subheadings, try to divide the text into sections. So consider why you have been assigned to the text. So skimming is different from scanning. So in skimming, you have the raw data and you have to condense it definitely for it to be look compressed and capsulated. But again, you have to preserve the main point of the thing or the text you are summarizing. So in skimming is you'll be looking more to the Aaron, right, on the most important points and combining those
Yes.
important points for you to build up your summary. Because mawawalang sa isa yung summary kapag natanggal mo ang mga mahalagang punto ng iyong text na
Yes.
isa-summarize.
That's true, Tutor Alvin. That's correct. And you have to try to determine what type of text you are reading with, because if it's not clear in your mind at the first, I mean in the first place, then it'll be hard for you to skim and to know the important information. So this can help you to identify the important information that you need for your summary.
Number two, Tutor Aaron?
Is to read the text. You have to be able to, definitely, even though you're the one who did the research, still you have to make sure that you know it all, especially with your research. You know the pros and the cons, the ups and the downs of your research. So highlighting important information and taking notes. So as you read your entire research, your study, you will be able to get the important information. You have to be critical about it. As you get them, highlight them. Okay, so that when you go back to it for the summary, it will be easier for you to get the information that you need for your support.
Okay, and number three, in your own words, write down the main points of each section. It's very important that you have to present the summary in your own words. Okay, anyway, shout out lang kay sa mga papuso dyan, Princess Nicole Bonifacio. So happy viewing and sa mga humabol. Nice. So just listen and you'll learn because it's an integration of your research subject, right, Chula Iran? So for this
Yes.
one, in your own words, yan ang napakahalaga in summarizing because it's very important that you'll be presenting the summary using your own words because again this is part of a research and we're avoiding to do or to be copycats because hindi papasa yan sa flag scan. Okay, kung kumuha ka na nga ng data from other sources, hindi mo pa pinaraphrase, it will not pass the plagiarism scan. That's why it's very important to also in summarizing or summarizing the data, the findings and the results, you have to use or present them in your own words.
That's correct. Number four is to write down the key support points for the main topic, but do not include minor detail. So, as you are able, after successfully getting the main point or the main idea of your summary or of your findings, now you have to provide them with right information. Okay, not all the information are needed for the summary of findings, but only the things that are needed for your main topic. Okay, so you paraphrase them. With the paraphrasing, you also have to paraphrase the minor details so that it will not look like it's copied verbatim, no, from the research. So you have to be able to, again, another tip is to use right words. Although you are paraphrasing, definitely you still have to use the suited words for your summary of findings and for your summary that would make it still better to be read by your panelists or by your other readers. So get the supporting details properly, no? Skim them, choose them. That will make your summary strong.
And let us now proceed to the fifth one. So you have to go through the process again, making changes as appropriate. So I think we'll be revisiting the processes, okay, from skimming to highlighting and the other following steps, because you have to check, to double check, to do revision if possible, to do proofreading. Because remember, that is an academic text,
Correct.
so it must be proofread. Okay, it must be checked in grammar or in any other technical aspect.
Yes. And
So,
it also adds up to the quality of your work. And at this moment, we'll now go to okay, so our next part. So will be as said, no, we are going to present to you also descriptions and tips on how to present your works, your papers creatively using either a narrative form or graphical form. So we have different tips that we are going to tell you. But before first, let's have summary
okay,
findings, Tutor Alvin.
summarizing findings in the narrative forms. Okay? You have some to summarize findings in narrative forms. I don't know, saan na ba kayo sa inyong research? Nasaan na ba kayo? Sa results and discussion na ba kayo? Are you now interpreting the data, your results, your findings? Tell us, okay? Baka makatulong kami. So for this one, right after we have interpreted the data, okay, the raw data, the information we gathered from the interview, if it is qualitative or observation, or from the survey, from close-ended questions, if it is quantitative, it's now time for you to present them. First is two narrative forms. Narrative, as simple as you tell a story, or as simple as you're presenting them in textual form. So the findings of a research, a survey, an observation, or an experiment are reported in the list form. Di ba? Nakalista lang yan. Eh, hindi pwedeng nakalista yon, di ba? So that's why these findings may be arranged chronologically or logically from the most important to the least important. Okay? So as far as research reports are concerned, so the findings follow the sequencing of the specific problems enumerated in the statement of the problem section of the students. So in this one, we can narrate, okay, that's the keyword here, narrate, um, narrate the summary, okay, or narrate the findings using or
Yes.
in paragraph forms. Do you want to add to the Aaron? I think, yeah.
Yes, Sir Alvin. And later we'll be showing them, no, in our PowerPoint presentation, one example of narrative, right?
Yes.
In here, so as what Tutor Alvin said, no, in your data, definitely you will be enumerating them. You will be listing them down, no, with the survey and everything. And after all, it should not end there. Okay, there should be an explanation, a little
Yes.
description, support that would make your summary of findings be explained well. Okay, and your panelists or even your evaluators can right away see what happened with that, because you cannot just leave them reading the list reading numbers there, you don't have to leave them hanging. You have to have to be able to support your studies, your methods, and your what do you call that? Your interpretations with the summary or the findings. Okay, you have to be able to explain that properly. As we said, you have to skim them. You have to look for the main point. You have to support the details to make it strong summary. Okay.
Yes. So, data in narrative forms, let's admit, okay, it seems to be boring, plain, right? Why don't we add spice on our report, on our research? Especially nowadays, most of our audience, they are visual audience, right?
Yes.
What does it mean? They are visual. They prefer visual aids, colorful materials that will help them to really understand the, the study under investigation or the data being presented. And one way of presenting data or your result is through the use of graphics, okay? Or we call this the data in graphic forms.
Yes. And we have, I know that everybody is familiar with what we call graphical presentations or forms because in school, your teachers are using this in disseminating information. But graphical organizers such as tables, figures, or charts may be used also in presenting data from surveys, interviews, or experiments. And because of that, let allow us to give you some of the most used graphical information or graphical forms in the world of research. Number one is what we call diagrams or figures. Ito ang favorite natin, Tutor Alvin, di ba?
Yeah.
This actually illustrate concepts or processes. So if you have concepts or process that you would want to present, to differentiate and to compare and contrast, use what we call the famous diagram, which is the Venn diagram. That's number
Yeah.
one form.
And any other figure. Number two are the tables. So the tables are used to present numerical information. So example here, no, on your survey questionnaire, you ask the strand, okay, of your respondents, okay. Maybe you can, or probably you can present your data using this graphical form using a table. So example, students taking senior high school classified according to strand and gender, ABM, STEM, TVL, and their population.
Okay, so it only shows here, Tutor Alvin, that although we have graphic organizers, we are not only allowed to use them right away. You have to know
Yes.
the function and the processes first. That's like our next graphic organizer. It's a line graph. Line graphs are used to present trends over time. Okay, if you want to see changes or trends from time to time of your study, then you can use this. For example, here in our graph or line graph, we are showing number of employees in the three companies in 100s. So we have the year 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. We'd like to show the number of employees that were what do you call this, that were in the company for the consecutive years. So you have your company A in color blue, you have company B in orange, and company 3 in black. So you would see there the differences in the timeline, ilan yung bilang ng mga employees. So that's what you call line graph.
Okay, thank you, Tutor Aaron, for that. Now, if you want to show or illustrate proportions, ang walang kamatayang pie chart ang gagamitin natin.
Yes.
So, as part of the whole, you want to show the proportion, okay, the ratio, or yeah, the proportion, or maybe the share of each part. Okay, so example in here, the budget allocation of the group. So you will be seeing, okay, on our pie chart, alin ang may pinakamalaking allocation o ang share. Of course, the most the the indicator or the factor which has a wider or the widest area, that that simply means, okay, it has the greatest or the greatest allocation. So that is the pie chart.
Yes. And we have the bar graph. Graphs are used to compare two or more values with certain variables. So with our example here, two or more variables are being shown we have week 1, a number of absences per section. So we have section 1, section B, section A, B, and C. So we would like to show here the weekly absences of the students per section. So you have the numbers, you have the blue, the orange, the gray that shows how many absences were committed by the students in the respective class per week. So if you want to use that, if you want to show differences, if you want to show the numbers, or you want to compare the characteristics of one idea to another entity, then use what we call bar graph.
All right, and those are the various ways on how we can present our data using graphic or narrative form. Diba? So in your research or in the presentation of your or yeah, in the presentation of the results and the discussion, alam ko chapter 3 yun or chapter 4. So you may use various graphic organizers or charts table, but you have to check the proper use. Okay? Saan ba dapat gagamitin ito? Ano bang gagamitin kong graphic organizer for this one? Should I be using pie chart, a bar graph, or a line graph?
Yes. So those are some of the examples. And now going back, Tutor Alvin, to the narrative form. Okay? So we
Yeah, the
told
north.
them the different ways on how to make summary of findings. And here we are showing you directly an example of a text. And we're giving you or showing you or demonstrating you how to eliminate or to skim the information that we have. So in here, no, we will not kumbaga make it be in details, pero we'll be showing you how to process it. So in this skimmed information, you have the red lines. So nakita niyo that the information here, like the first bar, this first sentence is a general definition. So you have to remove that. It may be safe to assume that your audience is already familiar patents. Thus, you do not have included in the summary. So hindi mo na kailangan i-include because it will like to travel, right? It will be too
Yes,
long.
that's right. Because as much as possible, redundant ideas should be removed and irrelevant ideas from the original should be removed and not be part of the summary. Okay, for the second part, so this one, no, the underlined one, it gives the specific details about the topic, particularly the classification of two principles is important and this must be included. Always remember that the word important and relevant. So you have to check and balance from the
Yes.
original text which data or which information is important and should be retained when you write the summary.
Yes. So it has to be important to the main idea and it will strengthen no the main topic or the main point of your summary. Next, in here, you have to ignore specific details about the different principles. So if it's not really that important principle, remove them and specific ideas because you're doing the summary. So specific details, you don't need that because it will just prolong the summary. It will never be a summary if you will include all the specific details. So the
Yeah.
terms are self-explanatory. So if it's already self-explanatory, remove them. Another is that with these underlined terms or lines, it is important to point out that that most of the world or word follows system. The United States as well. So in here, we specified the important key point, okay, specific idea, which is the most of the world follows system. Okay, that's why we underline that. Kumbaga gusto nating ipakita na itong specific data na ito ay importante doon sa ating topic. Okay? Then the United States as well. Kasi parang mayroong isang rule na dapat sundan nila. So you have to show it's not only United States of America but also the other countries are following that specific rule or
Yeah.
policy.
And I think this would and the next is the problem but not all details. So it's very important that we include the problem because in writing a research, the problem must be included, but not all the necessary details. In the summary, identifying the problem, that's okay. In the summary, in the summary. But for the chapter one
Yes.
and your introduction, the details there must be um, discussed enough, but not in the summary. In the
Yes.
summary, it's very important just to identify the problem. That's enough.
Yes, that will give your panelist little idea. Then another is to describe this other problem associated with different patent principles. So we specified here na that there are patent principles of the different countries and the United States of America. So you also have to underline. So hindi natin siguro specify yung information kasi later
Yeah.
mapapakita naman natin yung summary. But we are giving you or showing you how to do or
Yeah,
deal with these long texts.
and to process these long texts so that we can come up with a commendable a model summary. And next one is we have to provide some explanation, but not all the details. Baka naman
Correct.
nag-summarize ka nga kung anong nakita ko sa original, nakita ko din sa summary.
Nilagay
Though
mo na
tama
lahat,
naman
di ba?
yun, nandun lahat, medyo bawasan natin, and palagi na naman ang keyword natin, hashtag important. Okay?
Yes. And the last is to describe the action taken to the problem. So in summary, we get the main point. You choose some of the important information or supporting details. You show the problem, and definitely you have to provide what are the different actions taken to solve the problem. Because in your research, you are answering again your statement of the problem. So you have to be able to show what happened, what are the things that transpired along the way in your process. So those are just this is actually an idea or little tips on how you can skim, how you can choose important information. And for our next tutor, Alvin, we'll show them, yes. So the sample summary.
Yeah. Actually, this sample summary is the summary. I think parang ito ang summary ng whole paper, right? So kasi
Yes.
nandito ang problem and of course the solution or the action taken. So let me read it. Okay. Excuse me. So in his paper, Global Implications of Patent Law Variation, Koji Suzuki in 1991 states that lack of consistency in the world's patent law is a serious problem.
So
In most of
problem.
the world, yeah, that's the problem there. So in most of the world, patent ownership is given to the inventor that is first to file for a patent. So that's something a background, right? However, the United States maintain a first to invent policy. In view of this, patent ownership can change depending on the country. So it parang background dito, no? Yung pinaka-lokal in this country, anong sinasabi? Okay, about the patent law. So, ang context natin dito is sa US. So, in view of this, ayan, patent ownership can change depending on the country because multiple patent ownership can result in economic problems. However, most striking is the international tension it causes. That is another problem. Can you continue it, Tutor Iran?
The fact that United States does not recognize patent ownership in other countries in violation of the Paris Convention on Industrial Properties, it has prompted the World Intellectual Properties Organization or the WIPO to push the United States to review its existing patent law principles. So in
Oh,
here,
yun.
siguro medyo na ano sila, no, sabi natin summary of findings chapter 4. Also, Tutor Alvin, di ba, we are also using this summary of findings or including this in the abstract, right?
Yes.
Especially when other researchers or emerging researchers would want to see uh, your study right away. So they will actually look at your abstract. Parang ito yung face no? This will be the face of your paper. So yung summary of findings mo, hindi lang siya yung pang chapter 4 and chapter 5. So you have to also be able to provide information na importante that will be ready for your other researchers.
Yes. So, for this afternoon, what you have learned, very simple. So, we talked about the things or the ways on how we can write a summary. First, you have to skim the text. Second, you have to highlight important information and take notes. And three, write down the main points of each section.
4 is to write down the key support points for the main topic, but not all. And to number
Yeah.
5 is to never stop editing or never stop going back through the process again to make sure the quality of your paper.
Yeah. And always remember, how can you present the summarized data through two using narrative form and the graphical forms. Okay, the narrative form, I think it is much comprehensive, and okay, the graphical
Pleasing
form,
to the eyes.
pleasing to the eyes, more attractive. Can you use both? Yes, you can. Okay, mas malakas ang iyong results and discussion kapag sinamahan mo ng mga graphical representations. So, just in time for your AF moment to shine. So, let's
Ready na
begin,
ba
I
kayo,
think.
our AF Phenomenal students, to shine?
Yeah,
Alam
are
ko
you
naman, ready kayo
ready?
palagi.
Okay.
So now let's
So,
go to our moment to shine. It's a guessing game, Tutor Alvin.
a guessing game. So, just guess, but we'll be giving you clues. Hindi naman namin kayo papabayaan. You're still
Yes.
guided. But then, I'm sorry, jumbled ang mga letters. Okay? You have to decipher the correct word, okay, being defined or being described in each item. So, comment the number and the answer. Okay? The number, the item number, and the answer. So, let us begin today, Ron, with number one.
Number one, it is the important ideas in preparing a survey report. What is this? Go.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is NIAM PNTSOI. So what do you think is this?
Yeah, you have to
This
make
is actually
sure,
one of
no?
the things that we look for when we are summarizing. Tutor Alvin, they already have their answers and very good. Alan
This
Mark, Agia, Anthony, Malyari, Jasmine, because the correct answer is
main
main
point.
points. Ayan, ready na
Okay.
silang gumawa ng summary.
Tama. Number two, it is to look over quickly, especially to find main ideas.
Oy, we just said
Yeah.
this a short while ago. It's actually the
To
number one tip.
look, yeah, to look over quickly, especially to find main ideas. Okay, so may nakakuha na ng sagot. So Alan, Jasmine, Anthony, and the others say skim, and that is correct.
Yes, very good. Now we go to number three. Number three, these are ideas which are omitted when
Mhm.
writing a survey report. So you have to remove some and you have
Remove,
to
yeah.
get some. But these are the things that you need to remove. How? What do you call them?
Yeah, needed to be removed, needed to be reduced, not to be retained from
Yes.
the original
So
to
what
your
do you think?
to the summarized version. We call this,
Yes, somebody answered already, to Alvin, and it's
yeah, ang bilis na kamay.
irrelevant
It is irrelevant
ideas.
ideas. Number four, this is a statement that says something that another person has said or written in different way. Okay? It's also we call a restatement, but then of
Yes.
different way, using
This
their
is
own
actually,
words.
this is the one that will save you from plagiarism.
Yeah, if you don't want to commit plagiarism, better do this. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Alan, it is what do we call, and Princess Nicole, paraphrasing. Correct.
Correct.
Siringan
Paraphrase.
Kapaliatan.
And I think we have the last. So this is the thing that we discussed today. This is a synthesis of the ideas of a piece of writing. Makes you unable to relax.
May pagano'n pa sa bandang huli, no?
Oo, minsan very unable to relax kasi siyempre mahihirapan ka talaga dito dahil
Oo.
isipin mo 'no, yung mahabang pinag-aralan mo ay papaliitin mo, and that's what we call, very good, our phenomenal students, it's what we call summary.
A
Yehey!
summary. Okay, to my
Ang galing.
co-teacher, Ma'am Jasmine Manalo, shout out to you, nanonood siya. Hello po, ma'am.
Ang
Okay, so
galing-galing. Congratulations, RA
that's
phenomenal
right.
students. You got
Congratulations.
5/5.
Yeah, will you please share your
Your
score
score. Ano
on the
score
comment section?
ninyo?
Mm-mm. Score.
Okay.
Okay, so how was it? We would love to hear your thoughts or feedback on how we can improve your experience. Just scan the QR code below and go to the link. Okay, and kumusta? Kumusta ang aming pagtuturo for this Tuesday afternoon? So, just in time for this afternoon, Tutor Aaron, we talk about
Summarize findings and execute the report through narrative and visual or graphic forms.
okay, so we're hoping that you really learned, okay, or it helps you on how are you going to work with your results, okay, with your interpretation and be in converting them into narrative or graphical forms. And that's it for today. Thank you for your participation, a phenomenal students. This has been Tutor Alvin.
And I am Tutor Aaron, and we are your EAPP buddies.
See you next Tuesday for more thrilling adventures.
Always remember to be EAPP phenomenal
Be fantastic.
and be EAPP powerful.
In English for academic and professional purposes. Only here on ETUlay Live.
See you again next time, our EAPP phenomenal students. See you again
Yeah,
next
good
Tuesday.
day.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!